We're at Mainstreet Market, which is our neighbor, really.
Yeah.
And we're here with Kaaren, who's going to be sharing information about getting ready for Thanksgiving, which is coming up. It's probably that time when you start making your grocery list. And we're here with Kaaren, who will help you make that grocery list 100% better. And so Kaaren is here to talk about Thanksgiving and what you need to do to get ready for Thanksgiving. So we have some questions we'll ask her, and then we'll open it up for you to ask, and we'll go from there. So this is a busy time in Mainstreet Market.
We have two busy times in the winter. One is Thanksgiving, one is Christmas/New Year's. So yes, it is. And a little busier than normal this year because the world is different. So instead of a lot of people going out for dinner, they are cooking themselves, which is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
But here, such as I hope you have a turkey ordered because there are really not any turkeys left. And there's a huge turkey shortage all of a sudden. Just like so this is the way this whole pandemic has gone. Everyone eats the same thing at the same times. And the supply chain just can't figure that out and can't keep up. So everyone's eating turkeys. There are not enough turkeys this year. So we had a lot of our fresh turkeys we didn't get. So Steve's like trying to do everything to finagle so that everyone who ordered a turkey gets one. But there are not a lot of turkeys to be had anymore. So I encourage you to call right away if you still need a turkey for Thanksgiving.
So would it be easier if they haven't ordered a turkey yet to maybe get just a turkey breast?
There's a huge shortage of turkey breasts. Yeah, I mean, because that's part of the turkey.
Yeah, I know, but maybe you had some frozen ones.
Well, we did, but so here's what we do. We obviously have a lot of cooler space, and back in the day, people just bought their frozen turkey and put it on the back porch for a week or however many days it took to thaw it, and then how many years ago someone decided that really wasn't safe, so you had to put it in your refrigerator, which I think is part of the reason most people eat fresh turkeys, because who's got room in their refrigerator on a normal basis, especially at a holiday for a huge turkey. So we thought we will thaw frozen turkeys for you. So we, if you need a frozen turkey, you just tell us when you want it, and it will be thawed when you take it out. So you don't have to.
That's great.
We've always done that, but this year it's really important because there just are no fresh turkeys left past the orders that we already have. So yeah, we've always done that. And if we had turkey breasts, we would do that. I think Steve, you should just call the meat department. Steve's doing some finagling and trying to figure out how to make it work for everybody. And the other thing is we're also just saying, you know what, forget the turkey and have prime rib. Which has always been my philosophy. And if Thanksgiving was ever held at my home, it would be prime rib or tenderloin. It would not be turkey.
Yeah, I think about my Thanksgiving growing up. You would have always lasagna first.
Really?
Yeah.
On Thanksgiving Day?
Thanksgiving.
Oh,
and they're having
how did you get home?
So they're having it. I know my family's getting together in Illinois, and they will begin with lasagna. So you'd be so full, but then you could just eat. I should never eat a lot of turkey.
Right?
Now, by the time I got to the Thanksgiving, I was so full. So turkey was never an important thing to me because I like the other stuff too.
So maybe that's how you're Italian.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how Italian families assimilated. They kept the lasagna for the Italian part of your family tradition, but you were in America, so you had to do the turkey thing. Nobody really wanted turkey, so you fill them with lasagna first, and then the turkey sort of in
the side.
Yeah. Well, I remember, back, I don't know, when I was a little young, whoever was having the turkey would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and put the turkey in the oven. And
Yeah.
I don't know why. I can't figure out why. I don't know if they were partly frozen and so they had to be in the oven so much longer, or if everybody ate at 11 o'clock. I have no idea. But when we moved here and we're open on Thanksgiving morning from 8 to 12, and people, this year might be different because people aren't working the same, but people would come on Wednesday night. Thanksgiving morning is the busiest holiday morning we have. We are crazy busy for 4 hours, and people buy the whole entire dinner and go home and cook it, and probably eat at normal time, 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it's, you don't have to do the middle of the night thing, which I don't know. I don't know anybody who's alive who's used to do that.
Now you have to grind your turkey. Like,
Okay.
you need to do that, like, get ready to do that the night before, right? You grind it.
Yeah,
It's a
no,
day.
I think you have to grind like a whole day.
Yeah,
Okay.
And then you have to wipe it off and then let it sit. That's good for wild turkeys. That's how you get the wild gaminess out of
But you don't have to do that to a fresh turkey. In the past, I've done it, and
It's a lot of work.
yeah. I always threw like a half a cup of whiskey in my turkey.
Ah!
I don't know why, but I just thought that's what you do, and I think I must have seen my grandmother do it or my mother do
One
it.
in the turkey, one in the book.
But I always did that. I said, well, you get rid of all, that turkey taste.
There you see the Italian family. They really do want turkey.
Do everything to that turkey, but I always like it, and I still do that.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
The other thing I think is so funny about Thanksgiving, well, there's a couple things. First of all, everybody eats the same exact thing. Maybe tiny variations, but so it's a one time a year when we always make sure we start loading in like 2-3 weeks ahead of time, because everybody eats cranberry sauce, sweet potatoes, little mini marshmallows.
Yes.
This is the most.
It's so
sell more.
gross.
We still sell more mini marshmallows this week than we do any other week of the year. Stuffing and mashed potatoes. Everybody eats, and green bean casserole. So it's like the only holiday where really 95% of the population eats exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing.
And I'll tell you, I never liked sweet potatoes because of that marshmallow thing. I thought, this is awful, and I never liked it. But now I love sweet potatoes. I like cooking them all different ways, but not like that.
Right.
It's soup and roasting them. With other root vegetables.
Right.
It's all good for you.
Right. Well, and you think of it's not it's a very caloric meal.
Yeah.
So, and then the pies and everything else. It's a little overwhelming for your stomach. So it's good to not have all that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Plus, I think the other kind of fun thing about Thanksgiving is, that all the sides are portable.
Yeah.
Most of them. So, when people have family celebrations or multiple people, the cook does not have to do everything.
Yeah.
It's very easy to separate out certain things and have people bring them. Which that's not true of a whole lot of things either.
And that's how we do it as a family. We would always bring something, either appetizers or salad.
Right. It's easy to delegate aside. But the other thing I think is hilarious is every single Thanksgiving commercial, they put this huge, fully baked turkey on the table.
Mhm.
I have never in my whole entire life seen anybody do that. And I don't know why you would, because I don't know how the heck you would serve it.
Right.
It's always bringing this ginormous turkey on this platter and set it down in front of mom or dad or whoever's at the head of the table. And I just think, most people don't ever see the turkey. It never looks like that.
Right.
Even if you cooked it and took it out, it would never look like that.
Yeah.
Because turkeys are kind of messy.
Yeah.
A lot of insides and
Yeah.
stuff.
Right.
My mother had an electric knife.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, my mom and dad had one of those years
Always
ago.
pulled it
I don't
out
even
for the
think they
turkey.
exist
No,
anymore.
always the turkey got the electric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about those.
Yeah.
See, that's when nobody had good knives, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having a nice Thanksgiving meal without lasagna this year.
Do you have a turkey ordered? Otherwise,
No,
get the turkey and have lasagna.
I know. I'm headed to St. Paul, and my daughter-in-law puts a different spin on it. She does like a cabbage, I think, or yeah, cabbage is important for her. So she puts a Polish spin on it, and that which I kind of like. And it's the one time I'm not one for any processed food. I don't like canned goods. I try to do everything fresh. But you can do that bean casserole. I mean, with canned beans. I've never made it fresh because they're,
No.
you do the
Frozen.
soup,
Sometimes frozen.
You
can use the frozen beans sometimes.
Yeah, those are a lot better than the canned ones. But yeah, and then the onion mix
Yeah,
on the top.
fried onions. I know. See, everybody.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. And Brussels sprouts. People started eating Brussels sprouts when people decided they needed to have a break from the green bean casserole.
Yeah.
Although I would bet that the majority of family dinners have green bean casserole.
And for sure we'll have it. Yeah. And I think people are getting away from the canned ocean spray
cranberry
sauce.
I actually love that.
You do. You just open it, put it in a little.
I actually like the one that is the gel based.
Yeah.
But I mean, fresh cranberry sauce is so easy to make. It's so easy.
And I don't think I've ever made. I've made things with cranberries, but never cranberry sauce.
Oh my gosh, it's so simple and so easy and so yummy. The other thing I learned when my first Thanksgiving with Steve's family is leftover turkey sandwiches with cranberries and cranberry sauce on them.
Okay.
Which if you've never had a turkey sandwich with mayonnaise and cranberries and I think that's all. It is so good.
Yeah.
And it never would ever have occurred to me.
Yeah.
Except I thought, well, yeah, of course that makes sense. It's part of your Thanksgiving dinner. But it is so good.
It's funny how they have that turkey hotline that gets started. Like, I wonder what kind of questions get asked on the turkey hotline. That seems to be a big joke with the comedians at night. The night before Halloween about the turkey hotline.
Right.
But,
because really, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
It's just like chicken, except it's bigger.
Yeah.
And there's directions. It's all about how long you
Yeah.
it. And, I don't know. I think people overthink a lot of things.
Yeah.
I mean, we found that with holidays. I think there's just people that have so much pressure to feel like everything has to be perfect, and you probably make a turkey once a year, if even that. And so it's something we don't normally do. So you want to make it right.
And stuffing. I think I love stuffing. I love stuffing that's done well.
Yeah.
And the stuffing that's from the turkey is always so good. And then the other stuff is so dry.
That's where gravy comes. I would never, ever eat potatoes, gravy, sweet potatoes, and a vegetable, and another vegetable all at one sitting.
Yeah.
Ever. Except at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Ever.
And is it true that turkey makes you sleepy?
I think it's more the amount of food.
I think it's the amount of food when I eat too much. Oh.
Yeah.
So I know Brussels sprouts is kind of a new.
Well, that's a fresh alternative to green bean casserole.
She's got a pomegranate here.
Pomegranates are holidays. Pomegranates are beautiful. You cut them. I should have cut it, but a lot of people don't know what to do with pomegranates. But the seeds are gorgeous. They're so beautiful on green salad, or just as a, just as something on your plate for color, because they're so bright, brighter than cranberry color, and they're really tasty. And cutting a pomegranate is hard until you figure it out. Put it in water because all the juice is very, it will stain anything. You have to be really careful with it. But they're I mean, I cut a pomegranate and you put it, half of it in like a cup of water or a bowl of water, and then you can just pull the seeds out very easily, and then put it in a strainer and
Put it in a bowl of water.
It's easier if it's wet.
Okay.
And then they float.
Oh,
So
yeah.
as you're like pulling them out, then they kind of start to float, and then you can take the pith off of them.
Okay.
It's just easier. Plus, all the juice goes in the water instead
Right.
of anywhere else.
Right.
That it goes to.
These
Very
are
simple.
one of the things she has on sale this week. Yes, I
Well-
saw that in the produce. Pomegranates are on sale. Celery, pomegranate.
Oh, I know.
I gotta get
Same
my
old,
celery.
same old.
Yeah.
I know. There's not a lot of originality. Unless you go with the prime rib or the tenderloin.
Yeah.
Believe me, that would be original.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Very original.
Yeah. So, and we've got squash here. I know a lot of people like to do a soup to start out with a meal, and butternut squash soup is so good. Yeah.
Well, and that's kind of a just fall, winter,
Yeah.
root vegetables.
Yeah. Yeah. And desserts. I'm not, once you're cooking and everything, I don't want to make a dessert. You have people.
Oh gosh.
Tell us.
I
about
would never make a dessert, and I would never make rolls from bread. I would make everything else I would make,
Yeah.
but I would never make a dessert. And I would
Well, your
never,
oven's tied up.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
right. And it's just, yeah, I mean, there's really good pies and there's really good
Yeah.
bread.
Yeah.
So that, I feel like that's not anything you need to waste your time on.
Yeah.
So they have
Yeah. You've got a
Yeah.
pumpkin pie
So
right
yeah, we've
here.
got fresh pies we'll be making next week.
Yeah.
Bakery's taking orders, buns, rolls, breads, I guess, whatever. Yeah. Kind of things.
So say I don't want to cook anything. Is there things I can get already made up here?
So our deli has a Thanksgiving catering order that's available. We're making carrots, mashed potatoes, stuffing, lemon almond green bean casserole. No cream of mushroom soup in that.
Okay.
Cranberry sauce and sweet potatoes. So we're not doing the whole turkey dinner, but we can do all the sides. You can place an order with the deli and have all the sides ready for you. Chili is doing some Thanksgiving meals for two. Just some small turkey stuffing, mashed potatoes, and beans, I think, just for anybody who doesn't want a whole turkey,
Yeah.
but there's just two
Oh,
people
that's
that just
great.
want
Yeah.
a dinner.
Yeah.
Anybody can call the deli and order those too. Also for pickup, and we're open from 8 to 12 on Thanksgiving Day. So
That's great.
hard to remember everything.
Yeah.
Most
Yeah.
people.
So what about beverages with your meal? Let's
So-
talk pairings.
So Thanksgiving is a really tough wine pairing meal because there's so much going on and there's so many starchy foods. So it's completely different than really any normal kinds of foods. And the number one wine that goes with Thanksgiving dinner is Riesling, which most people would say, ugh. But, disclaimer, a good German Riesling is a delicious wine, and it's light and it's
Yeah.
fruity and it's low in alcohol. So it's something that lends itself to a 2-hour meal better than some things. There's dry Riesling, then there's sweet Riesling, and there's a lot of different levels in between that would suit everybody's tastes. But honestly, a Riesling is the best wine for Thanksgiving. Other good wines are like Chenin Blancs, because they're also a tiny bit on the sweet side, and any kind of French Chenin Blanc, which would be a Vouvray, or a French Chardonnay, which would be a Chablis or a white Burgundy. Those white wines would also be good. For red wines, you don't want big, heavy wines. You want like Beaujolais or Nouveau Beaujolais comes out tomorrow. That's available. You can't sell that until tomorrow. That's a good wine. It's really light, really fruity. The Cru Beaujolais are a little bit, have more age on them, and those are also very good wines. Pinot Noir from Oregon is awesome. Yeah, and that really is also much more, people know that a little bit more.
Yeah.
And the other thing is rosés. Like a rosé from Oregon, which would be a Pinot Noir rosé. Those are also really good for Thanksgiving dinner. And,
I always think of like a sparkly.
well, so our wine sale starts today. You guys have a winter wine sale. So this year my thing is people need to drink better wine for many, many reasons. Which I could expound on, but I think everybody gets it. And then my other thing is bubbles for your bubble. So
Bubbles for
right?
your
Isn't that cute?
bubble. Very
that like a little bubbles for your bubble. You know, everybody, no one ever had a bubble before, but you know, and I always try to think of reasons to drink bubbles because I absolutely love any kind of sparkling wine, champagne. But I think this year in particular, people have been drinking a lot of champagne or sparkling wines this summer because I feel like everybody just whatever you can possibly celebrate, you're celebrating. Yeah. So every holiday or birthday, people are just they're celebrating life. So the definitely that should happen in the next month and a half.
Right.
People should be buying a lot of bubbles.
Okay.
But you're right. It's also because it's light.
Yeah.
And like Prosecco is low in alcohol also, and that's a little on the sweet side too. But just bubbles are just inherently light tasting. So lots.
So how does this wine sale that you have?
So we have this twice a year. Every year we always do it around this time of the year, so it's always around Thanksgiving, and then we do it in the spring. And this year we weren't open then, so we didn't do it. So we do it. It's for 2 weeks, and if you buy 12 bottles or more of wine, you get 15% off, and they don't have to be the same thing. So we encourage people just to, pick out any kind of wine, right?
Yeah.
So we've done this for quite a while, and if you buy between 6 and 11 bottles, you get 10% off. So it's a really good time to stock up because it's going to be a long winter.
It's going to be a long winter. Yeah.
Very long winter. But yeah, and then the other thing this year is, and honestly, this kind of came about because my daughter-in-law Missy had a baby at the end of March, and last holiday season she couldn't drink, and so my son buys all our liquor and beer, and she said, all right, you need to find me some better liquor and beer, non-alcohol options. And to me, you need to find me some better non-alcohol wine options. So we did. So we have lots of really awesome, really good non-alcohol wine, liquor, and beer options that are just, craft and really good, and not the basic stuff that didn't always taste very good.
Yeah.
So everybody can partake.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many fun cocktails now that don't have to be alcoholic.
Right. Well, a lot of the mixers.
Yeah.
There's some really awesome mixers that make really good cocktails without having, without having to put the mix in.
Yeah.
Put the mix in or not. But especially wine is of a celebration, like a Thanksgiving meal. It's important. That's your Italian tradition. You know that?
Yeah.
That's just part of the meal.
Yeah.
And that's part of celebrating family. So the wine is pretty important to Thanksgiving dinner. We used to always, because it was our wine sale, we always used to have wine tastings this time of year, which we can't do. So this year, Kaaren Hall, who always did the wine tasting on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, she's going to come anyway, and we're not going to taste anything, but she's going to set up a table and have a lot of wines out and explain and answer questions for people and give people some options that she'll put on a table so you can actually see them, and we'll all pretend we're tasting wine.
So you like to have a really pretty table for Thanksgiving. Do you have flowers that we can?
Yes. Yeah, we'll have fresh flowers coming. We get fresh flowers every week from Blossoms in Ephraim. So she'll be bringing those. And we have Christmas things already. Poinsettias and little trees and things are coming next week too.
I love the flowers here. They're always so pretty.
She does a great job.
Yeah.
She does a really good job.
Yeah.
So yes, we will do that. And this is my truck. I love to do. This is too many things in here. Normally, if this was my home,
Yeah.
it would just have like all pomegranates or
Yeah.
all clementines or something. But to me, just natural things are beautiful. And candles and
Yeah. And you're right. They say you should never do more than 3.
yeah, this is not. This is a different, for a different thing. Yeah, that kind of gives me a headache actually. But yeah, so I just think Thanksgiving table. It's actually more important, I think, that it looks pretty before everybody sits down,
Yeah.
and then you take half of it away because you need all that space.
Yes. Yes.
You need all that room for all that food.
Sure. Yeah. So, we're going to look at our questions that we have from our people out in.
Yeah, so we have just a couple thank yous first off.
Okay.
I don't know if they can hear me. So I'm gonna do that.
Any?
We have a couple of thank yous.
We have a couple of thank yous on Facebook.
We do have a question about delivery or pickup. I don't know if you guys are doing pickup orders still. If
So
they
we're
call
doing-
ahead.
Okay, so we started doing pickups again on a little bit of a limited basis because we're not closing. Do that again, I hope.
No, we know too much more now.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. But we are doing pickups again, and I'd say the best thing people can do is call, and we'll give them the schedule, and I'll send them an email with the information. But yes, we are doing pickups, and we're doing them Tuesday and Wednesday. So we'll do them next week. Not delivery, but we are doing pickups.
Okay.
Another question is what's the average size? So is it too late to get a turkey then from you guys this year?
No, they need to call like today or tomorrow.
Okay.
And talk to the meat
Got it.
department.
Okay.
And no one except the meat department is allowed to answer a question about turkeys.
Good.
In case we say the wrong thing. Used to do that. Steve's also roasting chickens that morning. So we'll have chickens. We already have a couple orders for chickens.
Oh, yeah.
Because you could get a chicken and, a roasted chicken and make all the sides and
Sure.
it would be a more flavorful turkey option. And smaller, so for people who have small.
I love those rotisserie chickens.
I know, they're
They're
awesome.
so good.
Yeah.
I just made a great chicken soup from the carcass. So I use
No.
the whole thing. So
I know, I
yeah.
take them and, pull it apart and freeze it. and use
Yeah.
it for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the thing too this year. So many people went to a restaurant, so it had no leftovers. So this year, there are going to be a lot of turkey leftovers, I think. So people are going to be getting creative, I think, with leftovers. Normally, that's part of the turkey problem too. A turkey in a restaurant could serve, how many people, but if every family is doing it, then everybody's got a turkey.
Yeah.
So, it's just part of that whole supply chain thing going on. So, but frozen turkey is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do a lot of things with it.
Because I'm a single person, I am a freezer queen.
Yeah.
Like I freeze a lot.
Yeah. Well, then you take it out in a week and it tastes like you just made it.
Yeah. Well, I just let it sit there. Get that. Yeah.
And then we have another question. If they want to place a Thanksgiving order, by when do they need to place that?
We're asking for them by Friday. So if you want to call the store and ask for the deli, we'd like to have the orders by Friday.
Okay.
Because most people will pick it up Tuesday or Wednesday, probably Thursday even. But yeah, she'd like the orders by Friday, if possible. Saturday's okay, but Friday's better.
So like on Wednesday night, are you open?
We're open till 7.
Till 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just, we just don't really know what to expect this year.
Yeah.
I think there's so many people that are here already. I don't think there'll be this. I mean, normally Wednesday is crazy busy and it's busy at night. Thursday morning's really busy because so many people came Wednesday after work or after school.
Yeah.
Not everybody goes to work anymore and hardly anybody goes to school anymore. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting.
So I mean, we live in a beautiful place, so people, if they have a choice to live in a city or here, most people, if they have to do their work from home, are staying in Dorchester.
Yeah.
So,
A lot of people have obviously chosen to spend a lot more time there, which I totally understand.
I understand too. Yeah. So Jess, any more questions?
No, that is it.
Viewers out on Zoom land.
No, there aren't. That was it.
Right. And Kaaren, do you have anything else you want to add about?
No, I guess, if you have, for people, don't freak out about it. It's not that difficult. Don't think that you're going to present this beautiful turkey on the dining room table when they show in the commercials. You're not going to do that. So, it takes a lot of pressure off, I think.
Yeah.
And I just think it's, I think it's true of any meal, honestly, that you have put some thought and care into. It's, it's more about who you're with.
Yeah.
And, the camaraderie. And I always thought Thanksgiving was one of my favorite holidays because you get your family and you get food, you get good wine, and you don't have to give anybody a gift. Or get a gift.
Yeah.
And, you just get to enjoy your family.
Sure.
And,
Sure.
I actually think people have probably been doing that more
Yeah.
in the last 5-6 months than normal.
I think
But-
your family probably goes after the whole rush. I'm so
Well-
glad it's 1 o'clock.
Well, Steve and I and our kids always worked on Thanksgiving morning, and we always have dinner at my mom and dad's.
Okay.
And that was always the trade-off. So
Yeah.
they make the turkey, and now we all help and bring things, but we still always go there. So we close up. We get closed up pretty close to noon, and get in the car and drive to Ellison Bay and have a yummy meal. And then I fall asleep on the way home. It's a half hour. It's dark. And all that turkey. Probably some good champagne.
Yeah. So, Jess, anything else, or that we have, or we'll?
No, maybe.
Let's talk about hours. Make sure everyone knows the hours here, so when they come for shopping. I know we know about Thursday and Wednesday, but what are your hours now in the winter?
So right now we are open Sunday through Wednesday, 8 to 6, and Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 8 to 7. That's our hours right now.
Okay.
And so far that's been manageable.
Yeah.
So,
And I see all your students have gone home.
they all left at the end of October. Yeah, they all came within 2 days and they all left within 2 days, which has never happened before.
Yeah, they're so sweet.
Yeah.
You get to know them. They come to the library.
Yeah.
So, And before we finish up, I just I see you have 2 bins here, and one is called the Big Bundle Up and Feed Door County. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this program?
So this is something, I believe the visitor centers of all the individual communities do this every year.
Customer service, please.
And it's for 1 month. It started November 1st. It goes to December 1st. And they're asking for food and only youth outerwear. So hats, mittens, coats, boots, anything that they will take. And in Egg Harbor, Alyssa Rasmussen is our marketing coordinator. She takes everything. As the buckets get full, she takes them to feed my people, and they get dispersed.
No, we did something in our neighborhood because we always do around Thanksgiving. Our neighborhood would do a Friendsgiving, but this year no Friendsgiving. It's just all quarantine in Point Beach. But Yeah, so it's nice to see. You always want to give something, and this is another way to do it.
Right.
So,
There was a question that just came in. Do you ever do cooking, like tastings or demos?
No, we don't. We don't. We just can't quite figure out how to do that. They have to be closed. Yeah, no. I mean, that's like a dream, sort of.
yeah.
I'd love to do that at some point.
Well, I have to tell you. So in Milwaukee, they would have at one of the grocery stores singles event, where only singles could shop.
Oh,
Oh wow.
that wouldn't work indoor. Well,
Ah.
I guess.
But
Yeah.
they only did it a couple of times and then it went away. But it was just like, oh,
Yeah.
let's see who's singing.
I'll put that on my list of names. Maybe after the first of the year.
That's it?
Yeah, no, we don't really do that. The only thing, I mean, so I'm a really good cook. Missy's a good cook. We have lots of good cooks around here. So, I mean, if anyone asks any questions, we can always give them a good recipe. And our meat department is also very good. And because all of our meat is wrapped in those white butcher paper, they will often write the instructions on the butcher paper on the piece of meat. So people, you tell someone, I don't know if I'm going to remember that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of meat that goes out that has directions, cooking directions right
Oh,
on
I
it.
like that.
I like that too.
Steve's a good cook too. He knows. He knows how to make things. So, yeah, someday though. I think that'd be fun. Actually, I'd like to do it at my house and do a video. We had me a couple. We had a dream about doing that too. It was pretty crazy. Like 3 or 4 years ago, we were all gonna make these cooking videos, and I don't know what we were gonna do with them. We never did.
But you had the Facebook last winter that was a savior that we would all put our
Yeah, that was
recipes.
so cool.
Yeah, because I
That
started
was-
making bread then. You know? It was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that started when we were closed down and we were shopping for people. And so you're shopping for somebody and you've got this list. And it's like, wow, what the heck are they making with this? You have all these ingredients, and people were very creative. And it happened at Easter. Well, we were closed during Easter. So one of our customers sent me pictures on the day after Easter of the meal he had made, which was unbelievable. It was a roasted rack of lamb, and it was these unbelievable carrots, and he had flowers, and everything. And he said, "These are all the things you shopped for, and this is how it turned out." And so I said, "Can I put that on Facebook?" Because it was, it was the whole table. It was set. It was beautiful. And he said, "Sure, go ahead." So I did that, and then someone else sent in pictures of. Okay, so this is our family meals because our family has been quarantined here. Family with 5 kids and their parents had been quarantined here for, well, at that point it had been like a month. And she said, "We are having so much fun." Their kids were range in age from like 19 to 10. She said, we're all together, so we're all cooking together every night. So she sent me pictures of their like family dinner table and a couple of their meals, so I could put those on Facebook. And then everyone just started putting all these, and we kind of put the call out. Okay, if you've made some really cool thing, send it, and we'll put it in our little Facebook recipe, dinner thing. And then people started asking for cooking instructions and how do you make that, and It was
I would look
really
at it
cool.
every day.
Ken and Sean Mattice were like, "Oh my gosh, you guys, what are you doing?" And they'd have like 3 things a week, and one looked better than the other.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really fun.
They have a
So
great
we'll have to like look at that. Yeah, you can tell he's got a good kitchen.
Well, I think we're going to finish up now. Thanks everyone for listening to us, and thanks Kaaren for this has been really informative. And everyone out there, happy Thanksgiving, and make sure you're getting your grocery list put together so you can have a fantastic Thanksgiving. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving.